Supreme Personality of Godhead said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvara, and Vivasvara instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Isvaku. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciple succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is told today by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend. Therefore you can understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivasvara is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed the science to him? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, many, many births both you and I have passed. I can remember them all. But you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. Although I am unborn and transcendental, my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all sentient beings, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Gita, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself, to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I advent myself millennium after millennium. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take her birth again in this material world, but retains my eternal abode. Being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me, and taking refuge in me, many, many persons in the past became purified, and thus they all attained transcendental love. All of them, as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from the fruitive work in this world, according to the three modes of material nature and the work ascribed to them. The corresponding four divisions of human society were created by me, and although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. All the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding and so attained liberation. Therefore, as did the ancients, you should perform your duty in this divine consciousness. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what action is and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what is action, knowing that you shall be liberated from all sins. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among people. She is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every act is devoid of desire for sense gratification. She is said by sages to be a worker, whose fruitive action is burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Abandoning all attachment to the results of her activities, ever satisfied and independent, she performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. Abandoning all attachment to the results of her activities, ever satisfied and independent, she performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. Such a woman of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up a sense of proprietorship over her possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, she is not affected by sinful reactions. She who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady both in success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. The work of a woman who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom through her full contribution to spiritual activities, for the consummation is absolute and the things offered are also of the same spiritual nature. Some yoginis perfectly worship the demigoddesses by offering different sacrifices to them, and some of them offer sacrifices in the fire of the supreme Brahman. Some of them sacrifice the hearing process of the senses in the fire of the controlled mind, and others sacrifice the objects of the senses, such as sound, in the fire of sacrifice. And some of the work of the senses and the work of the life force controlling them in yoga to obtain knowledge of the self. There are others also who, enlightened by sacrificing their material possessions in severe austerities, take strict vows and practice the yoga of eightfold mysticism, Ashtanga yoga, and others study the Vedas for the advancement of transcendental knowledge. And there are even others who incline to the process of breath restraint to remain in trance, and they practice stopping the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming and incoming into the outgoing, and thus at the last remain in trance, stopping all breathing. Some of them, curtailing the eating process, offer the outgoing breath into it, self, as a sacrifice. All these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reactions, and having tasted the nectar of the remnants of such sacrifices, they go to the supreme eternal atmosphere. O best of the Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? All these different types of sacrifices are approved by the Vedas, and all of them are born of different types of work. Knowing them as such, you will become liberated. O chastiser of the enemy, the sacrifice of knowledge is greater than the sacrifice of material possessions. O son of Pritha, after all, the sacrifice of work culminates in transcendental knowledge. And when you have thus learned the truth, you will know that all living beings are but part of me, and that they are in me and are mine. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you'll be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. As the blazing fire turns wood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has achieved this enjoys the self within herself in due course of time. A faithful woman who is absorbed in transcendental knowledge and who subdues her senses quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. For the doubting soul there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Therefore, one who has renounced the fruits of her actions, whose doubts are destroyed by transcendental knowledge, and who is situated firmly in the self, is not bound by works, O conqueror of riches. Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight.